Greetings and salutations, I am Rory Shep, and this is Simplistically Awesome Redstone. Or for today. Oh god, so complex. Alright. Behind me is an auto potion brewing machine. The simplistic one that you can build. This is it. And it doesn't look very simple, I know. So what this does is will continuously brew one kind of potion over and over and over and over again for all the ingredients you have put into the droppers here. Make sure that they are droppers when we build this. Droppers are important. Dispensers will most of the time glitch the item out of the hopper and they'll bounce off. That won't work. So you want to drop the item into the hopper. So droppers. Now, I'm going to push the button, and this thing will make us healing potions. Ready? Button. So, it has already dropped in. You'll notice the nether wart is brewing up. The next item that will come in is our item, then our modifier. There's the item. And there's our modifier. Once it has finished that part, it should jump over and start all over again. Ta-da! And it will keep going for as many items as I put in there, as long as there is water bottles in the chest. Well, this chest. So this design is based off of something I saw built by, I believe, Exuma Void. The problem I had with Exuma's build is it required piston selectors. So he had pistons set up in a row. When you push the button, the piston pop up, and that would choose which item dropped in. It glitched a lot. A lot of times I got stuck in stuck in the brewer, and I had a mess of time. There we go, instant L2. And this thing should be just running right on through. So I have set this thing up to brew 5 potions. So how this works is I can put in whatever items I need. So see, 3. We've already brewed 2 batches. Let's do the next batch now. Up here, you can see the next setup is already in there. That's this hopper. The trailing nether wart is obviously the greatest invention here. And that too, I believe, came from Etho, over at Etho Lab. So, kudos to them. So, this build is very small for an auto potion brewer. Using a volume of only 14 blocks in total. So, here we are. What we're going to do now is I'm going to cut and we're going to go over to building the thing all over again. There's just one very important thing I have to warn you about when using this machine. Alright? This top dispenser, yeah, not dispenser, never use dispensers. This top dropper must have nether wart in it. Alright? However, you cannot just load this thing up with 64 nether wart, or every single square. Don't do it. This machine will keep cycling as long as items keep flowing. So put in however many you want to do for the potions you want to brew. If you want to brew 25 potions, put 25 items in each one of these things. Press the button, walk away. When you come back, the 25 will be done. This thing can brew up to an insane amount of potions in a row. You can use every slot in here. You could, in theory, randomize the items in here and it'll brew different potions every single time. So the concept for this is not be able to select every potion to brew, it's just be able to brew a whole bunch of the same kind of potion over and over and over again. The other drawback to this design is it does not have the secondary modifier. Now, the reason it doesn't have the secondary modifier is simply this reset circuit. You can add a second dropper in here. You would have to bump this thing up with another half slab and tie it into it so that it would fire the secondary modifier after the first modifier. So the secondary modifier would be gunpowder, and it would only ever be gunpowder. So if you want a splash potion of healing, you're going to need that extra dropper in there, and another half slab setter going into it. So basically you'd have to come up from here and go into it. Now, note the delay on this repeater. If you're doing that, you're going to need 2 repeaters, so that second dropper up here is going to need that same repeater up there with the same delay. That delay prevents this thing from getting in a sink. Alright, let's get to building. See you in a jump cut. Alright, now that our explanations are out of the way, and we have demonstrated this working, let's show you how to build it. Now, I have color-coded each one of the circuits to make this easier for you. So, down here we have our gold circuit. Over here, our blue circuit. Up here, our silver circuit. So, iron, lapis, and gold. These 3 circuits will control individual mechanisms within this build. It's actually a lot simpler than it looks. I know, I'm talking multiple circuit things here now. Take a deep breath, it's going to be okay. So, to start off, you're going to place down 1 hopper and your brewing stand. This is the heart of the machine. Now, this blue circuit is what we're going to do first. Start off with 1 redstone, 1 repeater. Make sure it's in this configuration, no delay. So this will be the one that turns on and off this hopper and prevents things from exiting the brewing stand before it is complete. Very, very important stuff. Alright, so here it is in the completed one. See that? Alright, so we're just going to build that over here. Redstone dust, comparator off the side, redstone dust. So what is this doing? Quite simply, we'll just swing back over here. It is looking at this hopper, determining whether there are things inside it. If there are things inside it, it powers this and prevents it from sending things through. Let's throw down our hopper. Ta-da! Now that hopper has been primed with items to prevent this thing from shutting itself off. We're not at that step yet. Now we're going to bring this hopper chain up 3 more. Follow me? Right, 3 total. 2 more. Sorry. Alright. Once we have that done, we're going to take our droppers. Now, to get these droppers to face in the right direction, you're going to need some scrap stone or block right next to your hopper chain. You're going to slap them on just like that. Alright. This is a good time to start off that 4th circuit, which is your start button. Hold shift, slap your block right there, place a button here. Place a repeater on top of that block. Okay? Your build now should look just like this. I just gotta go grab a half slab. 2 half slabs off the side, just like that. Alright, now the next one is a little trickier to place. I can't get it on the block I want. So you don't want it there, okay? You want it there. So that is off a full block on this side. So if you have to, slap a block here, place that there. So this is the return circuit. So this is what fires at a second time to reset the machine. And it's critical. If this does not work, your machine will empty out all these hoppers and you'll fill up the chest with empty water bottles. Hilarious the first time, and then really, really annoying. Alright, so we have now done the control to prevent the water bottle from going through, and the on button. The all-important on button. From this point forward, we're going to start doing more in the line of this top circuit. So this circuit is the one that controls both the water bottle's inflow and the indicator light that tells you when you're out of water bottles. So place your then place your comparator right here. Dust, 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 dust. And that's it. Now we're going to tie that line into our pause line. Now the reason we're tying it into the pause line is in the event that we still have up here but run out of water bottles, it'll still turn on the light and shut the whole machine off. So if this thing gives out a signal, it will also lock this out. Alright? Now, a redstone torch must go right here. Alright, you see that torch? That torch is going to control the hopper that goes here. Now, that hopper is feeding the water bottles into the brewing stand. Keeping up? Okay. Once more, we're going to swing over here so you can see the completed one. There's that redstone torch. There's that hopper we're working on. So right now, this thing is telling it that there is some units in there, but not enough to actually run the machine. So that torch is on, which prevents this thing from putting more water bottles into the system. When I press the button, you see the water bottles populate in and begins the process. Now, over here again, once this sends out a signal, it's never going to be strong enough to transport this signal all the way across. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a torch here. Now you'll notice that that burned out. Okay? The reason that burned out is both sides of this were true. So this is empty, and so is that. These two things would shut down the machine instantaneously. Alright? So right now we have no water bottles in the system. If we did, this torch would have been off, and this one would have remained on, which would prevent this thing from flooding the machine. Okay? I know, this is getting to be complicated, Redstone, and we are in simplistically Redstone. So, all you gotta know is, this torch will turn on when that is out. This torch will be on when that is empty. This torch should never be off when this torch is off, because that would mean you have nothing in your hopper. And the only time you'd really care that you are out of water bottles is when you have something in the hoppers. Alright? So do not be afraid of the burnout. The burnout is fine. Everything is working. It's okay. It's okay. Deep breath. Deep breath. Make sure that doesn't happen again. We're just going to throw an item in there. There we go. Now she's alive and kicking. Be sure that any item you stuff in there to keep this thing running will not actually go into the... will not actually go into the... Ooh, buttons will go in? Oh, I know what happened. There we go. I put it in just in time where this thing would be flickering off. That let it go through. Yeah, be sure that you don't put any items in here that are capable of going into the brewing stand. That would cause you some issues. Alright. The next step is to put in our final stage here. Now, this one down here is what tells this circuit that we are done, and to begin the next cycle. So this one controls letting things go through. This one is the reset. We want to place our comparator right here. Alright. Now this is where we get into repeater territory. I gotta swing back over here and grab a repeater. Ooh. You should note that the test footage was actually filmed before I started rebuilding. Alright. So you're going to place down one repeater right after your comparator. Some dust, some dust, some dust, some dust. Now, you may notice that there are two repeaters over here, and none over here. The reason for that is we need timing circuits. So we need this thing to wait just long enough for all the items to empty out of this hopper before it starts cycling again. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll have one completed potion left up here. So don't be tempted to skimp on the repeaters here. You need both. Alright? So what will happen here, even though it doesn't look like it, when something goes into this hopper, it will send out a signal. I'm going to need to put a few more in there. That signal will run through here and fire off the machine all over again. I put a lot in there. So 4 items, because remember, water bottles don't stack, and neither do potions, will fill up all the slots in here, giving out that signal. Alright, next step is our water bottle refill. So water bottle refill, really simple. 1 hopper there, 1 hopper there, and you're just going to chain these around to the front. Now, you can, in fact, put as many hoppers and chests for water bottles as you want. But for this demonstration purposes, 1 chest of bottles will be more than enough. And that is all you need. That will feed that right in. Now, and this is critical for this operation, nether wart must always be in that top dispenser. Okay? And your middle dispenser will be your modifier. So this is your redstone, your glowstone, your gunpowder. Your bottom one is what you want the potion to be. So in this case, healing potion. The extra strength. Got it? Alright. And with that, you are complete. Now that was a little bit more in-depth than you're probably used to. So please rewatch this video, go back through, and follow each step. Be sure that the 3 critical things are met. You have your timing circuits, and you have your 2 redstone torches. And they aren't flickering constantly. Now all you need to do is fill up your water bottles. The best way to do that is put a block of water down here, fill up all the bottles you can until they start overfilling your inventory, and then just start sticking them in there. In fact, with this setup, you have more than enough space to add that to the build right there. So when you're working with this thing, you can just fill up your water bottles, stick them up in the top. Last thing you're going to need to do is add in your indicator light. This light is merely here to tell you you are running low on water bottles and are at risk of breaking the machine. If that turns on, put more water bottles in. That's all you gotta do. Alright, there is one thing I have shamefully missed, and it's very, very important. So remember how I said this thing has some units in there because I primed the system? Well, priming the system is critical, so let's go back over that. What you need is 22 items. Doesn't matter what they are as long as they won't go in here, so don't use redstone. So in this case, we'll grab some half slabs. Place in 22 of them. So there's 3. And 19. 21, 22. Okay? That's what you need in here. So that's going to give out 1 signal strength. And prep the system so that when one thing goes in there, it will kick over. Without that, this won't work. So make sure you put 22 items that do not go into potion stands in here. Could be cobblestone. Just 22 items right there. Next, you're going to take 1 nether wart. Place it into the brewing stand. That will prime the system so that when you turn this on, your first item that drops in will be your ingredient. It'll turn it into a whatever potion you want to make it. The second item will change it over. And then the trailing nether wart will come in and reset the system. Alright? That's important, and I goofed. Sorry about that. So remember, 22 units, 1 nether wart. And you should be good to go. This has been Maurice Shep, and Simplistically Awesome Redstone. Y'all have a good one. See you next time.